Hello, home coaches. I want to thank you for the questions that you asked after your first night, kind of dipping our toes into the water of our new ARC reading system. And I hope it sounds like for most of you, it felt like a tremendous success. You were seeing your children, my students, your children, reading independently. What does reading look like in ARC? And in the beginning stages of reading through this program, it simply looks like children being able to pick up a pattern. Many of you were able to see some of the students during our fall showcase kind of pick up some patterns on the books as they were reading through. I read only like the first 2 pages of the books, and then they were able to complete the reading of the book. You can see when they're doing this at home with you, if you've had an opportunity to experience this so far, you can see their confidence is just going through the roof. And so right now we're really trying to create a passion for reading. A couple of things that I know that some of you have questions about. First, I want to comment on the excitement that I've read from parents. I have seen a lot of messages from you that said, oh my goodness, I'm so excited, I'm so proud of my child and what they have learned, and I want you to know we are all feeling that. I feel so proud of what your children have been able to accomplish in this small portion of time that we've been in school. We've gone from being able to read independently. Independent reading looks like their eyes on a book, actually reading at this level. We may be reading the words, but reading the pictures is also another way that we talk about we are able to read a story. So our independent reading time went from our first day of tracking, went from about 2 minutes where everyone was focused and eyes on the book, and now we're up just a little over 17 minutes. There are some off-task behaviors, but for the most part, we are engaged in reading as a whole group, which is pretty huge, and you should definitely applaud your children for being able to have such a substantial increase in a short period of time, and they're 5. What am I doing at this point during the room? Well, I'm walking around, moving from one spot on the carpet to another, reading with the kids, helping them start that pattern. Then we're also talking about some of the beginning sounds. If they can see the sentence pattern, I see the ball. Maybe I will look at that B and help them get started by saying, what would make sense based on the picture here? But really, at this point, the power goal is for them to pick up on a pattern. Once they are consistently able to pick up that pattern, then that's when we move on to making sure that they can start with those beginning sounds. So anyway, moving kind of back into a couple of questions you had. How long are you supposed to be reading with your kids? They should be reading for 30 minutes every night. That is not something that is, what is the word I'm looking for, that is specific to this program. All reading programs really do ask for children to read 30 minutes every night. The statistics for what that does for growing readers, growing students, and the correlation between reading for a period of time and 30 minutes really being the goal to what that does for their test scores and their later on success in school, huge. I do have a table that I will send to you that has that information on it. Even being in education, seeing the table is pretty startling, and it definitely makes you want to get your kids excited about reading. So I'll send that to you. But yes, the goal is 30 minutes. Even in our classroom time, you've heard me say as a whole group, we are at 17 minutes. So we're having to chunk our time to get to 30. So in one setting, on a certain day, we may not be able to, as a whole group, really get to 17 minutes. It may look more like 12 being successful. When we are no longer successful at independent reading, we stop. And then we restart at a later time. So it may mean 2 chunks of 15. It can mean 3 chunks of 10. And any way you get to 30 is fine. But on the contracts that you guys had looked at, this paper is also just a good tool kind of for reference because it gives some guidelines for home coaches and what to do. I will post a copy of this on our class website on our resources tab. But it does talk about that 30 minutes every night. I realize that we are super busy. My kids play sports too, and we are all involved in many different things, but try to get in even on those busy nights. If you can chunk it in the car, if they can do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, it may be more attainable to think of doing it in those smaller increments of time for a combined amount of 30. Also, there may be some who are feeling frustrated for having to sit there for 30 minutes, and I can understand that. So again, that's when chunking 3 blocks of 10 would work well for that. Another piece for you home coaches, you'll notice in the front of all of our books, there are power goals that it kind of talks about what you're wanting for your, what you're looking at for your children. Many of our readers are at 1Y, 2Y, 3Y for their goals. 1Y is simply just saying, hey, we want to make sure that your child can get the pattern down from a book. 2Y is there are spaces between words. So making sure they would be reading the juggler. Again, this is not a word you would have them read. We're looking at them picking up on the pattern so that they would say, he can juggle balls. What we talk about in our room is we do not say he can juggle balls so high in the air and they're red and blue and green and yellow, because there are not enough words that that sentence would make sense. So you can be very silly with it. That's normally how we are in our classroom. He can juggle balls. You will only read enough words as there are spaces and words on the picture. And then at the back of the book, you will notice there is a skills card. Right now we're at 1, 2, and 3Y. And so these skills will match where we're at, and you can kind of read some more information about those. I don't want this video to be super long. I feel like it is already pretty long. But there is training information inside the book. And the last thing I want to say is parents, they can fill these out all, I'll cover that. They can fill these out all by themselves. We practiced in class, and they are really good at it. Just a reminder, just tell them as much as they can fit in this box, and then stop. Some titles are longer than others, so let them know they can log to here and then quit writing. And then these are level, we're putting level Y because they are yellow level books. And then we're wanting to record the date. Once this sheet is finished, then they will start getting new reading logs that are two-sided. So I will ask that keep the reading logs. I do want those when they're finished. I am awarding points for them completing their time. And the other piece is book bags and reading logs will need to come to and from school, into home and back every day. So please make sure that they get tucked back in backpacks, because we do, of course, read them during the day. And when they don't have their reading log for their books, it's very hard to record what we're doing. So I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I know this is a lot. Welcome to kindergarten. Welcome to school. I know it's a lot of information, but your passion and encouragement for seeing them read is going to be huge in their success in the classroom and throughout their educational career. Please send me a message via Remind or email if you have any questions. I am happy to answer all of them. And keep on reading. You guys are doing amazing. I heard excellent feedback from the kids today, and I thank you for their feedback from you today. Have a great evening. Bye.